I'm going to talk a little bit more about what emotional immaturity actually is. There's been a little bit of confusion about what I'm talking about when I say emotional immaturity. So I want to really kind of pick that apart so that we understand. So I'm going to address that. Like, what is emotional immaturity? What does it look like? I'm going to give you an example that'll really show you what that looks like. And you go, oh yeah, like I don't do that. Or, oh, that's what I could have done. Yeah, we're going to peel it apart. Part of this is in honor of my mother. We're going to talk about her and what emotional immaturity looked like and the wonderful, incredible, powerful woman that she was. So I think that's an important thing. I talk a lot about the discovery that I've had about emotional immaturity and the fact that I was raised by emotionally immature parents. I want to really clear the air about something. And that is that emotional immaturity is not the same as adulting immaturity. So adulting immaturity is not going to work, not taking care of the kids. It's not doing the things that your parents tried to raise you to do. You know, be a good citizen, be functional in this world. That's adulting maturity, right? If you're hung up and you can't quite get there, it's probably because the emotional maturity is playing in. So I'm going to tell you a story so that you can get a hold of this emotional immaturity and what I'm talking about. My son. So he's got lots of stuff, but he's such a great kid. So he's got really, 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 like super really high functioning Asperger's, to the point that there's a little box when they evaluate. He's just on the inside lip. And so there's just little teeny tiny things that get in his way that we have to navigate around. Well, because he has a diagnosis, this is something y'all need to know, there's something called vocational rehab. And if he has a diagnosis, their job is to make sure that he has a functional job. State run, nothing you got to do except for say, hey, here's a diagnosis. And they go, all right, let's get you into the system. What would you love? So do you want an apprenticeship? Do you just want a job? Do you want some schooling? We'll pay. They're paying for him to become or to enter the program for mechanical drafting. It's in every state, you all. If you have a child with a disability, you can stop freaking out. There's a system that has counselors and all sorts of stuff to help these kids. So take a deep breath. Love all over them. They're going to be okay. There are systems set up. Now, like I said, he's not horribly functioning. He's very highly functioning. Okay, so they looked at him and they said, okay, what would you like? And so he likes art, he likes drawing, he likes computers. We kind of put, hey, mechanical drafting might be a good program for you. You want to try that? And he's like, yeah, let's try it. So he did all the things in order to get into the college, and then he applied for the program. And he was not accepted. This was a year ago. When he was not accepted, his counselor said, don't worry about it. It's okay. We'll find something else. Maybe let's do like an internship somewhere. And she says there was somebody else who did mechanical drafting, and he didn't, the same program, it's like a 2-year program. He didn't really get a great job on that, so maybe that's not the best thing, blah, 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 blah. She was trying to make him feel better. So what happened was he got an email. And it said, hey, first of all, okay, internship. She says, I need you to look at her internships and we'll try to work that out and make it happen for you. And he tried. And on Indeed, it kept saying that you need to have a 4-year degree to do this internship over and over and over. And he got overwhelmed and he kind of stopped because he was in a loop. And in his brain, there's really hard, fast rules. The rule is a degree. He can't get the degree. She wants him to do this. And by the way, if he doesn't follow through, he gets booted out of voc rehab and doesn't get the support. Kid was in, I didn't know all this. Let me show you how, or tell you how it manifested. Every time we'd say, hey, have you looked for internships, he would back up. he would be resistant. Like he would, apathetic, right? He'd just go and he'd just kind of, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then he wouldn't. I didn't know that he had already researched the internships and that he got overwhelmed. He doesn't communicate that. So his stepdad is like worried about him being, a functional adult. He's like, you know what? You just have to face your fears. You just got to do it. Not being in curiosity. So I finally decided to get curious. Now, I asked him as I was driving him on the way to work, and he went into, an Asperger's shutdown. It's like the whole body shuts down. He gets confused. He just kind of shakes his head, and he can't communicate. He was just about to go into work, and I was not going to mess with that. So, like, dude, I'm not going to set you up to have a bad day at work. So you go have a good day, and I still love you. It's okay. We're going to figure this out. He felt like a failure. He felt ashamed. He didn't know what to do about it. Panicked. He couldn't communicate any of that. That's what he was exhibiting, right? So on the way home from work, I picked him up. And I said something about it, and he started to spiral. And I said, okay, hold on. Before you spiral, I go, do you know that you're in resistance? He goes, what? And I go, okay, this feeling of not doing, of pulling back all the time, that's called resistance. I go, do you know that you're resistant? He goes, no. And I go, okay, what I've noticed is it's when I say the word internship that you go into this resistance. I go, do you know what that's about? Like, why? He goes, well, it just doesn't feel important. And I go, oh, so doing an internship doesn't feel as valuable to you as getting a degree? He goes, yeah, I guess. That was such good information for me to have. See, I was curious instead of judgmental. Okay, so we just need to go back to Vilk Rehab, and we need to talk to them and see if maybe at, the college instead of the technical college, maybe they've got a program that we can do. I mean, that's what they're there for. Then he says, well, I got this. He pulled out his phone and showed me a message from the technical college that said, we're pulling applications and we're seeing yours and wondering, would you like to be a part of the August cohort? This was like in June or July. And I went, Jaden, this is great. Oh my word. When did you get this? He says, a week ago. And I go, did you answer? Like, do you want to do it? And he's like, And I go, okay, I feel the resistance again. What's the resistance right now? He says, I don't know. And then he told me that the counselor said it wasn't a great program because somebody didn't get a job. And I said, oh gosh, okay. So I hear that. But that is a different situation than yours. I mean, what I can see is that if you do the program, it's only 2 years. Then you can decide if you like it, and you can specialize if you want. So I don't think it's a waste of time. I think you've got time. And he kind of lit up, and I said, is that what you want to do? He says, yeah, sure. I went, okay, well, it's only been a week, so let's connect and just tell the guy, yes, you're interested, and then ask what the next step is. So he did. Now, when I notice something, I can say, hey, are you feeling resistant? Now he can check in because he knows what resistance feels like. And he knows how to peel it apart. I had an emotional, mature parent moment with that kid. Gosh, it felt good, you guys. Now, part of the reason why I wanted to clear this up is I got a message from I posted about what I'm doing with this emotional immaturity and trying to peel this apart, and it's my passion to help people figure it out, right? And I just talked about, I had emotionally immature parents, and I got this message from my stepdad, and he said, your mother was one of the best women I've ever met in my life, and our relationship was great. I loved the fact that he was defending her honor because he felt like it had been compromised. My mom passed away 2 years ago. We did not have a close relationship. We had a very amiable relationship. I loved my mom. I know that she loved me. We never had a conversation like, why are you resistant? She largely didn't even know what I was involved in and what was going on in my world and my life. I would tell her, but she didn't know how to respond, even to celebrate. So it was, I knew she had heard, but without being validated, right? That I had an experience and this is what I felt like. Wow, it sounds like you're really excited about that. Like none of that. I would tell her it was like talking here. It's just a little different. Like I would tell her, but I'd get no response, right? And so what I know is that my dad, the way he manifested emotional immaturity is by narcissism. It was trying to be heard, seen, shown that he mattered. Makes me sad. His narcissism was pretty intense. And what did that do? Well, I don't know if y'all have lived with a narcissist, but it shuts you down emotionally. You're not allowed to have feelings. It's all about taking care of the other person's emotions, right? So my mom was shut down. Now, that's true. And I honor that woman. She did a great job adulting. She did a great job of physically taking care of me. There were some kind of, like I said, violent moments, but when I was really in distress, my mom knew how to show up. She was numb. Are you numb? Are you not feeling? Are you not connecting into what you feel? You cannot honor anyone else's experience if you don't honor your own. It's not possible. Because you can't understand where they're coming from. Because you can't understand yourself. That's what it was. She experienced a lot of crap in her life. And she did it brilliantly. And she was kind. And she was intelligent. And she was independent. And soft and loving. And not emotionally intimate. That's what I'm talking about. Do you have parents like that? It doesn't mean they have to be great, big, ugly ogres who abandon you. The ones who just did and provided and put providing before your chorus concert because they have to make the money. They have to put the food on the table. They're driven and sacrificing and don't know what you're actually struggling with in here. And you feel guilty for even wanting them. Okay, that's another thing. If you feel like you are ashamed for needing any kind of emotional support, if you are so good at being independent and you don't want to be a burden, if that is a thing, that means that you are raised by emotionally immature parents. Most of us were. It means that you have coping skills that may not be the best for your relationships. That's what it means. So, as I do in every live, I'm going to invite you to work with me. I teach a class that I wrote with God. It was so cool. 4 years ago. It actually teaches the skill set of emotional maturity. I did not know what he was doing when we wrote this. In 12 weeks, it helps you start to honor yourself and open up your heart in a really, really safe space. A place where you can practice, a place where it's not any of your other circles. Like no families, no friends, there's no history with these people. It's just beautiful people connecting in, finding out what are the voices in your head that are causing you all that doubt and fear and anger and frustration? What's holding you back? We quickly do it. We don't go deep into those emotions. It's not necessary. We do start to connect in with who you are, how you feel, and then start to create. Do you know if you're having a hard time creating your day, it's because you might not have been, number one, either given permission to hope, dream, and create, or the support that you needed that you didn't have, so you feel like it's not possible because you are not enough. Yep. If that's the case, come work with me. Here's the thing about this class. You do not have to sit and study for it. I have taught women who are in their bed because they're so depressed they can't get out. I have taught women who are really functional and are on the soccer field with their kids because they're good moms and they're trying to be supportive of their kids' dreams. So you don't have to like have your feet on the ground, your hand on the table. All you have to do is come. Come. I give a skill set, a tool for us to work on that week that starts to open this up, start to teach you how. And I would love to teach you how. I would love to fill in the gaps that you didn't get. I would love to help you actually communicate in a way that is really safe, really honoring for both you and the person that you're communicating with, even in difficult situations. I would love for you to join me. So, if you would love a class, it's 12 weeks. If you would love to work with me, please comment. Send me a message. Let's figure it out. Join me, okay? Share this video. Help me spread the word, okay? Because we can do this. We can change. We can elevate this world. We can get into actually healthy communication. I will see you tomorrow.